What's up guys, it's Ben from 2X Space Station. How's everyone doing? It's been a while, about 4 weeks since I last did a video. I've been really busy and also really hot. In fact, I'm sweltering this evening, so I've poured myself a nice little pale ale, Pride and Joy by Vocation. I do enjoy a pale ale now and then. I don't always want a lager when it's warm, so this is just cooling me down a little bit, so cheers. Hope you're all having a nice Friday night and have a nice weekend ahead. A few things that I wanted to speak about. First of all, a little bit of sad news. One of my friends on YouTube, a guy that I watched quite a bit, and a guy who was very active on my channel, you may know him, Dr. Josh Dariel Gamer, as his YouTube tag was, or Dr. Josh to us. Sadly, he passed away about a month ago now. It was really unexpected. I think Josh was a very similar age to myself, and you know, I've said this before, don't take it for granted how much you guys who make content can mean to other people and how much of a part of their lives you can become. You know, there are certain channels that just pop up in my feed and I expect them to be there, and part of you almost assumes that they're always going to be there. And Dr. Josh's was one of those channels. It was always there in my feed. He was a very regular poster and I watched his stuff a lot. And it's sad. It's sad when people that you feel as though you've got a relationship with on YouTube pass away, especially when they're similar age or, you know, very young. Josh was really passionate about video games. He had an absolute ton of Mega Drive and SNES games, and he did a lot of comparison videos. And he will be sorely missed, and my thoughts go out to Josh's family. The really weird thing is that he's still posting videos after he's passed away. I guess this can happen if you've stored up previously recorded stuff on YouTube, which is a very strange feeling because I watched the videos almost feeling like Josh is still there, which is, it's very peculiar. Anyway, a bit of sad news there, and my thoughts with Josh's family. If you've never seen his channel before, his kind of tag, his kind of sign-off thing was "Be a gamer for life," and I think that's something that we could all kind of share and something that we could all kind of tap into. So, be a gamer for life, everybody. One of the things I liked about Josh's channel, and this is coming on to my next topic now, is that it was actually super low tech. And coming back to one of the things that I liked about YouTube in the first place, one of the reasons I was here is because I kind of want it to feel like I'm sitting in my best friend's house, age 11 or 12, and watching him just plug in games, or her, just plug in games, and we play them together, and I get to watch. That's something we used to do a lot as kids. I just watch a friend playing games, and that's something that I really hope never goes away on YouTube. It's one of the things that I loved about Dave Webster's channel, and I love about Steve Benway, Lawn Boys Post. People who, I'm not saying they don't put effort into the channels, of course they do, but it's more on the kind of low tech end. It's more kind of point the camera at the screen and let's see what we can see. And I think that part of my sadness about Josh's passing is maybe part of a realization that that those channels are feeling more rare, and I'm coming to cherish them more and more because I'm worried that YouTube is moving in a kind of weird direction. A place where maybe at times I find it hard to find my place now more than I did, say, 6 or 7 years ago when I first started out. I think that generally the level of quality, or sheen as you might want to put it, has increased. It's become a much more professional place. There's probably more at stake for people in terms of money that they can earn and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that I've got anything against channels that want to put a lot of effort in, but I do kind of miss those down-to-earth grassroots channels that feel like friends that I might know in real life, people that might interact with me, people that kind of share that feeling of spontaneous enjoyment with computer games that I had as a kid. And I think that the way that YouTube's going, I don't have the time to play that game. I know that some people do. Like, if this was my 9-to-5 job, of course I would be able to make a video every other day and have loads of shiny editing on there. And, you know, I did do videos in the past that took a lot of effort. I think what I've realized is that not to push myself to do those videos because I think that that's something that I need to do to grow on YouTube, and just to do it if I enjoy them. And actually, I haven't had the energy for making that kind of content. I find it really exhausting, actually, and this is meant to be, for me, a place where I come just to chill out. When I'm watching videos, I like them to be relaxing, and when I'm making them, this is meant to be a hobby. It's just not gonna have that level of sheen most of the time. I don't have the time or the energy, and this is meant to be a wind down place. And I think it's possible to put a lot of pressure on yourself as a small channel to think that you've got to make super high quality content and super shiny content. You know, if you have this idea that you want to make it big, whatever that means, then maybe that is what you got to do. But god damn, I miss the grassroots stuff, and I seek it out, and I watch as much of it as I can, because that's what I'm here for. And increasingly I realize it's the only thing that's going to carry us through is the people and the relationships that are around on here. It's not necessarily your analytics and your audience retention and your number of shiny edits. You know, I'm not saying that I've got anything wrong with that stuff, but I think that we need to make sure we don't lose track of how important the people are here. And that's the only reason why I'm still around and still doing this, is because of the people and the interaction. And I tend to find that interaction's there more when people when people are thinking about their passion for games and the community and just wanting to get that excitement out there, rather than thinking about their Patreon accounts and their level of production values. In my opinion is that stuff is kind of a bit of a distraction. Hence why I loved Dr. Josh's channel. Hence why I love a lot of those kind of lo-fi channels, and also hence why there's less pressure on myself, that self-directed pressure to try and make shiny videos. You're probably not going to find them here, unless, you know, I'm doing a PhD at the moment, and I do have some free time, but PhD takes a lot of work, and unless I suddenly get a hell of a lot of free time, I just don't have the energy for it anymore. I don't want to play that game. I just want to be here, down to earth, me, and hang out with you guys, basically. Interesting, because of all of the coronavirus stuff that's been going on, and you know, I went back to work in the hospital for 2 months to try to help out. I took time out of my PhD to try to help out, and it was pretty scary time, and there's a lot of difficult things that I had to deal with, and difficult decisions, and unfortunate, very sad circumstances that we're exposed to. I think that we need computer games more than ever, I've got to say, and I think that this is part of the reason why you're seeing things like the Nintendo Wii prices going up so much, because you can see that during lockdown and during this really difficult time, people's desire for these things is so high. And I've got to say, from my point of view, I've really I've lent on gaming as a place to escape to, so I have been playing loads and loads of games, and I think it's super important. It's like, it's a different world, a different place to go to. When there's a lot of stress and uncertainty outside, that's been a kind of constant thing for me. Come back home from work, just veg out sometimes, or just go and explore something completely different, and yeah, I think that's awesome. So I think it's similar for loads of other stuff. Like, I've never read so many books in my life as I am doing at the moment. I've always got a book on the go. I'm reading Stephen King's most recent book at the moment. I've read like 5 of the Game of Thrones ones, and it's great in some ways to actually, when I was in lockdown, it was probably like, well, you know what, I've actually got some attention here and some time to actually just put into reading books. And you know, it's been a good thing in some ways to just explore books so deeply and to get really stuck into it. And it's similar with games, similar with TV as well. You know, watching Netflix and stuff, and catching up on series that I may not have had time for in the past. Or just, I think it's just a kind of a desire, a strengthening of the desire to escape. And so those things become increasingly important. It's funny, I think that we knew that video game prices were going up anyway, because, well, especially for 90s consoles, I think people who were into the Mega Drive and stuff are similar age to me. So now that they're in their 30s, they've got jobs, they can afford this stuff. And yeah, the prices are getting crazy. I do sometimes just Google or put into eBay some of the games that I've got, and some of them, you wouldn't believe how they're like tripled, quadrupled in price or whatever. It's absolutely crazy. Sometimes it puts pressure on you. It's like I don't really want to get my Radiant Silvergun CD out in case I fuck it up or scratch it or something. It's like, it's not a game, it's an antique. You need to put it up on the wall or something, or seal it, or whatever else. And that was never my intention to begin with. I just wanted to buy things that looked cool. But God, the prices have gone absolutely insane. In terms of the kind of games that I've been playing, I've kind of gone down a new avenue that I hadn't been down so much before. And I think this is stemming from I'm getting a bit tired and a bit fatigued with the open world games. Say if we look at the big AAA title that came out in the last 4 weeks, Ghost of Tsushima, I looked at the trailers and stuff and I thought they looked cool, but just the thought of going into yet another open world game, it just creates this kind of sinking feeling where I'm like looking at how many hours it takes, and I start Googling like how long to finish and stuff, and I just don't want to be going down that rabbit hole again. I just don't have time for a million fetch quests and go and explore this shrine over here and question marks on the map. And these games were so groundbreaking when they first came out, and things like Skyrim and stuff completely changed my understanding of computer games and really inspired me. But I've run out of gusto. I'm completely saturated with them, and I just can't be doing with it anymore. I feel like I've just had my fill of them, and I need a break from them. I have played some open world stuff, in the last year or so. I've played things, I guess you could call a Death Stranding an open world game, and I really enjoyed it, but it was a different focus in many ways. It was a very kind of specific kind of game that, and I'm just kind of, I'm a bit worried because like the natural step from PS4 to PS5 is going to be bigger worlds and bigger games. And there is a worry there, like bigger games means a bigger open world and possibly more random shit to do that's not always that fun. I don't think bigger always means better in the sense of video games now, and I kind of feel like we're reaching a saturation point where a normal person with a normal life, a job and a wife and kids, they're not going to be able to play these 60, 70 hour games where you just wander around. And I felt quite sad in some ways because many people have said you've got to play The Witcher 3. It's like the perfect example of an open world game done well. And I'm sure if I played it when it came out like 5 years ago, I would have felt that. But because of this way that I'm feeling, I picked it up and I was like, oh God, I just can't do it. I just had to stop after a couple of hours because I've just run out. I've completely run out. But I have started to discover a kind of game that I really, really like with a passion, and it's the Metroidvanias. And these are games that I never played as a child or even in my 20s. I only just started playing them now. Super Metroid was not a game that I had as a kid because I didn't have a Super Nintendo. But what did it for me was playing Axiom Verge. Axiom Verge is a one-man game. One dude made this game, all the graphics in it, everything, all the music. It's incredible. First time I played it, maybe a couple of years ago, it didn't do anything for me, and I stopped and just left it there. And then I kept feeling curious about it because I'd heard people saying stuff about it, and I came back and I played it again and I completely got hooked, and I just loved exploring the map and unlocking all the different guns, finding the secret areas, all of that stuff. And it completely it unleashed and unlocked. I finally understand what it is about those games that people love. So then I went on to play Super Metroid on the SNES and absolutely loved it. I completed it. It was tough. There's a lot of areas where you can get lost, and it required a bit of patience and occasional Googling and a little bit of Reddit help. But it was phenomenal. Just a beautiful, well-crafted game, and I can see why people loved it so much. Like it's really up there. I can see why it got 10 out of 10 scores. I think it's as near to a perfect game as I think you can get. Certainly from that generation. I played Axiom Verge, then I played Super Metroid, then I played through like several of the Metroids on the Game Boy Advance, and absolutely loved them, beat them. Now I'm playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Like, it's just unlocked this thing. And the thing about it is that they are big in terms of the map can be very long, but they're usually about 8 hours, 10 hours, and I don't feel overwhelmed. Like, it is hard that you've got to find stuff and discover stuff. That sense of discovery is really fun, but it's discovery in a kind of contained map. And I'm kind of like, you know what, that does it for me. That ticks the box of wanting to feel like I'm exploring. And the more abilities you get, the more things that you unlock. But it's doing it in a more well-confined way, in a way that can be done in a couple of weeks. rather than like, here is 80 hours worth, off you go. And you know, like the last Dragon Age game, similar thing. It's like, something about me is now closing down when I'm faced with those games. And it's not that I've run out of interest in RPGs or whatever. I think it's just too many of them. And I don't know what you guys think about that kind of game now, if anyone else is feeling similar to me. But it's worrying me. It's worrying me that I'm not going to be able to buy into like the next gen, because I'm just going to be like, it's just all open world games. It's all 80 to 100 hour games. And I think what I'm looking for now is nice, neat, well-defined experiences where I can tap into it, I can beat it, so I get that feeling of accomplishment, and then I can move on. We've got so much stuff to do in the gaming world and also in real life that I'm anxious about things that are going to demand way too much time. I don't want to invest all that time in them. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about, guys. Sorry I've not posted a video in a little while. I hope that you're all doing well. And let me know what you think about the things that I've said in the comments below. Take care, and I'll speak to you all soon. Have a good weekend. Bye.